Okay, hello and welcome back to All Nations Apologetics. Today we're working on something a little bit complicated, so bear with me. I'll try to go through it quickly. But we're working on dimensions as in we live in a three-dimensional world. You can look around and see three-dimensional shapes all over your room, or, I don't know, wherever you're watching this video. If you look at a picture on the wall, that is a two-dimensional shape. A one-dimensional shape would just be a line. A zero-dimensional shape is where we're going to start. So we're just going to have to bear with me for a minute. It will get to God at some point. Just trust me. Trust me. The process is going to be a little bit long, but we'll get there. So we'll start with zero dimensions. Zero dimensions is a singular point which makes up all other dimensions. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. That's all it is. It's just a single point, this right here, this red dot. So I made each new feature of each new dimension a different color, just so I could differentiate a little bit. Just like the line is black. So it has 2 points, twice as many. That's going to be important for later. One line, so this is a new thing that is inconceivable to a zero-dimensional being. What does that mean? What that means is that if a line passed through a zero-dimensional universe, then all you would see as a hypothetical zero-dimensional being, obviously you wouldn't be able to be a zero-dimensional being, but as a hypothetical zero-dimensional being, all you would be seeing is a dot, because that's all that would exist in your universe. And that doesn't really apply too well to 1 versus 0 dimensions, but you'll see that in a minute. So we can see it better when we go to 2 dimensions, which is a plane, not the kind that flies, the kind that is flat, the kind that you would see as a picture on your wall. Just a flat surface, a plane. So anyway, so it's 4 points, twice as many points. Yet again, that's important. Another new thing, inconceivable to a one-dimensional being. So, if a plane passed through a one-dimensional universe, all you would see is a line. You would not be able to see the whole plane as a one-dimensional being. Again, hypothetical, obviously, a one-dimensional being can't exist, as far as we know. But anyway, so this two-dimensional plane, if it were to pass through, oh, excuse me, bumped my microphone, that probably made some noise. If a plane passed through a one-dimensional universe, a line, then you would only see a line. It is inconceivable to any lower-order being. 3 dimensions. Now we have a cube. I'm trying to get through this fast so that I don't lose all my audience. The pattern continues. It's twice as many points again, so we go from 4 on the plane to 16, or to 8 on the cube. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Twice as many. The pattern continues. A new, previously inconceivable shape to a lower ordering being. So, what we do with 3D is if you were to see a 3D shape pass through a plane, so if you were a totally flat being, and you saw a 3D shape, all you would see is just a flat shape, but it would be like moving weirdly, if that makes sense. It would like grow and then shrink as it passed through. So that's our 3-dimensional shape. We can use these patterns as rules to make diagrams for the other dimensions. So it's hard to sort of diagram anything above 3D, because anything above 3D is, I don't want to say speculation, because we can totally confirm what it is, but we can't really see it in the way that we can see 3-dimensional shapes throughout our room. So anyway, all that to say, 4 dimensions. I kind of made this confusing with my drawing, but all this is to mean is time. It's time. So this diagram is showing this cube kind of morphing into this cube. And they're the same cube, because with time, we don't see like a piece of paper turn into an iPhone. I don't know. But what we do see is a piece of paper moving from one location to another. If you were looking as an outside being who was outside of time in on this piece of paper, you would see two different pieces of paper. Like if you were looking at a video frame by frame and you saw, let's just say you saw a dog. You see a dog in the video and the camera is being held still and the dog runs from the left side of the video, the left side of the frame, to the right side of the frame. Then you would be seeing two dogs. And obviously your mind, as a three-dimensional being, just turns this into, oh yeah, it's just one dog, it's just moving. But if you look at the two different frames, then you do see two different dogs. You have two different things there, two different objects. The only difference is they're at two different places in time. Just like I could say, my glasses are in a different place than my phone. And that would obviously be true. But if I move my phone from point A to point B, I could still say that in time number 1 and in time number 2, then my phone was in a different place, and therefore there's two phones. Kind of. That was a little complicated. Trust me, it will make more sense in a minute. So anyway, I kind of went through all these points already. And another thing, double check the points. Or double the points, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That is double. Double the amount of points, double the amount of cubes, so obviously it would be double the amount of points. And a 3D being. It's inconceivable to a 3D being. So if you existed like we do, kind of, just experiencing time and not looking in from, as we look in on a plane, on like a photograph, if we were looking in on a photograph, we would be able to see that that's 2D. Whereas we wouldn't be able to see two different phones unless we were looking at a like video editing software or something. We would be able to see two different phones. But again, in our mind, we would merge it into one phone because that's what we're used to. So we know that it is one phone, but they're in two different places in time. Just like if I had two different objects, they were two different places in time, or two different places in space, then they would be considered two different objects. So, I don't know if that made any sense, but there you go. There's 16 different points. Using this information, we can deduce two things. One, we actually have this in our universe, so it's time. We just can't see it because 2 to the 4th dimension is time. Anyway, on to dimension 5. And this is as far as I'm going to go, because this is as far as I need to go to make the point that I'm trying to make, and also because I have no idea anything above this. Anything above this is at least unknown to me. I'm not smart enough to figure it out on my own. But up to here, I can deduce. So anyway, 5 dimensions. It follows the patterns. Double check the points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. That is double the amount we had before. We had 16 in the last one. Now, previously inconceivable feature. Check. I did this in the wrong place. Ignore that. So we have the previously inconceivable feature is a split in time. So what in the world does that mean? Yeah, so it's inconceivable to us because we can't even imagine a split in time. A split in time, if I had the choice to move a cube, let's just say it's this cube, to 3 different places, so I could pick up my phone and move it from point A to point B, C, or D, and I had the choice to move it to any of those 3 locations, then that is what a time split is. So there's one universe in which I move it to point B, there's one universe in which I move it to point C, there's one universe where I move it to point D. And obviously there's an infinite amount of places I could move my phone to, but to illustrate my point, I just did 3 so that it would be double the amount of points again. So, yeah. So what is that? What does that prove? That proves that there is an unpredictability factor. What does that mean? That means that there is something in the universe that cannot be predicted because there'd be a split in time. So if it was predictable, then you could predict that the cube would move to this location right here. But it's unpredictable because we know it can also move to this location, this location, this location. It can move to any of these locations. So there's something in the universe that is unpredictable. It could either be God, and therefore God exists. Okay, fair enough. But probably most of you won't agree with that. Or I mean, if you're an atheist, you won't agree with that. And that's who I'm trying to convince here. Or it could be human beings. Maybe it's human beings. So do we have free will then? If so, then God exists, because that means God gave us free will. If not, then that's not the unpredictability factor. So what is it then? This is probably the most fair one, I would say, which is why I spent the most time on it. And that is quantum particles. Okay, but how do they work then? There's either a pattern we don't know about yet, and therefore that's not the unpredictability factor, and it's something else. Or God controls them, and that's not a completely unreasonable claim like you might probably be thinking right now. Look up John Polkinghorne if you want to learn more about that. He's a quantum physicist who's also a Christian who believes that quantum particles are controlled by God. Or they're completely random. And this is what I'm pretty sure that probably most of you are going to say about quantum particles, is that they're completely random and there's no way to predict them. Okay, so here's my response. My response is that if they were completely random, then how come our actions being observing them, how can our actions affect them? So our actions, scientists have noticed that if we observe a quantum particle, then it will move, it'll change, it will be affected. Well, let me play at devil's advocate really quick. Well, maybe it's kind of a response mechanism. They can sense actions and choose how to respond based on what they sense around them. Guess what? That's free will. God exists. Checkmate, atheists. Jesus loves you. If you're a Christian, I hope you really like this argument, and I hope you use it in the future. I probably could use some simplification, but I think that it works. Maybe just keep a paper on hand if you're going to try to be evangelizing and using this argument. But I haven't ever heard anyone use this argument before, so I think it's good to throw into the pool of arguments that Christians can use. So, if you're an atheist, obviously I hope that this convinced you. But if it didn't convince you, that's okay. I hope you continue watching my videos, and not just watching them to try to prove them wrong, and try to just watch them for the sake of debunking them, I guess you could say. And I hope you actually watch them with an open mind, and I hope that you at least give Christianity some thought if you haven't already. And if you're a Christian, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you use this argument to try to convince other atheists. All of this is just for the glory of God, that people may be brought to the faith, and that heaven might be crowded, because I don't want people to suffer in hell. So, anyway, all that to say, Jesus loves you. I hope that you go to church on Sunday, and goodbye.